What's up guys, it's Rokta here, back at it again with another amazing video on the channel. For today we are hitting you with the fan favorite deck profile that seems to be absolutely loved every time it is coming out. We have the Monarch deck profile. Yes, we have updated it yet again. This is a deck that, yes, into this format it can struggle with a lot of hand traps. However, it is a deck that has a auto win in the field spell, which is the domain of the true Monarchs. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure you do smash the like button, subscribe if you're new around here and you like my beautiful face, and comment down below, what do you think of Monarchs? Do they have a, even if it's a niche, do they have a spot in the meta game? Please do let me know, and let's get straight into the deck profile. So starting off with the main deck, we have of course triple of the Arabis. This doesn't change. Arabis is just absolutely crazy card for the Monarchs. He's the best big Monarch in my opinion. He's a lot better than Ether at the current moment in time. We're talking because of Fuwa loss. We're talking just for general effects, to be honest with you. I'd rather the hand rip after they Fuwa lost me, meaning they go down 2 cards instead of basically summoning an Ether and letting them draw a free card. So I'd rather the Arabis, to be honest with you. Both of the Arabis and Ether have the effect to send 2 Monarch spell traps with different names from the hand or deck to the graveyard, which is great because you can send the Pantheism and you can send the Trap, which give you pretty good follow-up too, to be honest with you. Arabis has a different effect on a quick effect, which is during the main phase, if it's in the grave, discard a Monarch spell trap card, target 1 monster in your graveyard with 2,400 or more attack and 1,000 defense. And that does include himself, and you can add it to the hand. So, very good card. I play 3. I'd play more if I could, but you can only play 3. Double of the Ether. This card is still okay. I don't think it's as good as Arabis by any means. Again, it's going to send 2 Monarch spell traps to use its effect. It's basically going to summon a copy of a Monarch from the deck, but it includes himself, and it is returned to the hand during the end phase. Now, I usually summon himself to then bounce it back to his hand, to the hand in the end phase, and then I can have the quick effect normal summon during my opponent's turn, which with a Monarch Stormforth is actually pretty good disruption even in today's standards. So remember, if you use any of the time tearing cards though, Arabis, or not Arabis, Ether is, his effect is not allowed to activate because you just can't use effects in the hand. So just do keep that in mind. Ether does have a bit of counter synergy with the time tearing cards, but the time tearing cards are cracked for a deck like this. Double Vanity's Fiend and the 1 Majesty's Fiend. Remember, you don't want to be giving too many big tributes in your hand because this is Monarchs, this is Brick City. You will brick. So 2 Vanities and the 1 Majesties. This puts a total of 8 tribute summons, and I think that is more than enough, to be honest with you, because you do draw a lot as well. Monarchs, as I said in the beginning, is a deck that struggles because it doesn't have any true 1-card combos. You always need to have 2 or more, so I'm hoping in future support it gives us a 1-card Monarch combo, which would be absolutely fantastic. Now coming on into the Squires, we actually have a couple. Double of Mithra. Mithra is really good because she can actually give your opponent a token, which means they can't Fuwa loss you or they can't Perulia you, but to be honest, they would have done that already in the draw phase, so it's mainly protection from infinite impermanence, which is pretty nice. And if you can get multiple tributes in a turn, you can basically protect yourself from imperm, protect yourself from gamma if that ever comes back as well, which is pretty nice. And just other cards like that that just require you to have no monsters or control no cards. Mithra is fantastic for that. Obviously, when it is tribute summoned, it gives you the effect to have an additional normal summon or set this turn, which is pretty nice. We have, for the other Squires, 1 Eidos, 1 Adaa. They go hand in hand. Adaa will summon Eidos from the deck. Eidos will give you another normal summon. So it's... I only play 1 of each because the Adaa is a hand trap magnet. It loses to a ton of cards. It loses to Purge, Ash, Imperm, Vela. There's probably more, but those are the main ones it loses to. So I just play 1 of each, and I'd rather use extenders for my hand that don't activate or that can't be hand trapped as easily. For extenders, triple of the Anum Fright, custom card for Monarchs. Basically, put it in the scale, blow itself up, draw 1 card, and then special summon itself from the extra deck to the field. And then when it would leave the field, it is banished instead, meaning it doesn't go back to the extra deck, leaving your extra deck empty. So custom card for Monarchs. I can't say anymore, just custom card for Monarchs. We have triple of the Kashtira Fenrir. Again, an amazing extender, can search itself, or can even search our second extender, which is the Kashtira Rise Heart. Rise Heart can summon itself to the field and then lock you out of the extra deck, only allowing you to summon Xyz, but since we don't use the extra deck, it's basically just a free body, which is amazing. Sadly, Fenrir doesn't have Monarch stats. Kashtira Ogre does, which I see a lot of people comment about. I don't think Ogre is worth playing still. It's only worth playing in situations where you open Fenrir and Tenacity of the Monarch. So you can go Fenrir, search Ogre, and then Ogre can be used as a valid target for Tenacity to get the search of a spell trap. However, I still don't think it's worth playing. I'd rather just search the extender or another copy of Fenrir. That's it for the monsters. Let's go on to the spells. Triple Domain. The deck is called after this card. This card is absolutely cracked. Locks your opponent out of the extra deck as long as you don't have an extra deck and control a tribute summon monster. Gives your Monarchs attack during the damage calculation. Gives them 800 more, which lets them get over that 3k barrier. And also can reduce the level of one monster with 2800 or 1000 defense in the hand by 2. Meaning instead of 2 tributes, we'll just take 1. That effect is not once per turn, meaning if you open double domain, you can just normal summon an Arabis. Yes, it will not have its effects. However, you just normal summon a 2800 attack monster. So that's pretty cool that you can do that. For the other spells, triple of the Monarch Stormforth. I still think this card is worth playing at 3. You want to play 3 of the important spells because Pantheism's effect can just banish it and reveal 3 copies of the same spell to add to your hand. Since your opponent has to pick one randomly, if you pick 3 of the same name, you're guaranteed to get it. Same for Stormforth, so during the turn that you would tribute a monster, you can tribute one monster opponent controls instead, which is amazing. That doesn't target, that just affects the monster. Unaffected monsters obviously cannot be done with Stormforth, but thankfully these days there's less and less of those going around that are meta relevant. And just remember, the turn you use it, you cannot special summon monsters in the extra deck that we play 0 cards in. So massive restriction there, just keep that in mind. For the best draw spell I have seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Triple Pantheism of the Monarchs. This is send a Monarch spell trap from your hand to the graveyard as cost, draw 2 cards. And there is a couple Monarch spell traps that want to be in the grave, including Pantheism. We have the trap as well. There's a couple other we can side in, like the spell and trap removal. That wants to be in the graveyard as well. I think it's called Frost Blast of the Monarchs, something like that. But absolutely insane. That isn't once per turn the draw 2, which is crazy. What is once per turn is that when it's in the grave, you can banish this card from your graveyard, reveal 3 Monarch spell trap cards from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 to add to your hand, and the others get shuffled back into the deck. You may think, wow, that's pretty bad. It doesn't say different names. You just pick 3 of the same name, and your opponent has to give you 1. So it's basically a draw 2 and a on crack Upstart Goblin, because yes, you draw, well, you add 1, but it's 1 that you basically pick. Triple Tenacity of the Monarchs. This card is good. However, it's only good with other Monarch spell traps. It doesn't actually do anything by itself, because you need to have this and a Monarch, which is very frustrating. I don't know why they did that. But you had to reveal one monster in your hand with 2,400 attack or 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense, and you can add a Monarch spell trap from your deck to the hand. It is a hard once per turn as well, which is unfortunate. So it's unfortunate how you always need to have 2 cards in order to do anything with this deck. I really hope that if they do get new support, we get some 1-card combo enablers. This card, Return of the Monarchs, is something I could definitely see an upgrade on. This is basically a Roto, which you think is really good, but it's only a Roto once you've tribute summoned. So at that point, if you don't have the extra normal, yes, you're searching for a monster, but you can't do anything with it, which is unfortunate. I still play 1 copy though, because there is ways where you can tribute summon, get an additional normal, and this can actually search for your Majesty's Fiend, since that has Monarch stats, and that's why we play 1 copy, which I don't think I mentioned. And then you can additional normal that, and basically your opponent is then skill drained, which is pretty nice. 1 March of the Monarchs, because if you establish the lock, it is very susceptible to targeted removal or destruction, so this just protects from that. The tribute summon monsters cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, so it gives you amazing protection from stuff like Lightning Storm and other powerful cards that are going to be trying to ruin your day. And for the last Monarch card here, we have the Prime Monarch. So this is the trap that we're going to be sending to the grave. It actually has a decent on-field effect, being able to target 2 Monarch spell trap cards in the graveyard, shuffle them, and draw cards. So it gives you recursion back into the deck. However, the main reason we're playing this is because if this card is in your grave, banish 1 other Monarch spell trap card from your graveyard, special summon this card in defense. Gives you a free body without committing your normal summon, which is amazing. And since there's a trap, you can do it during your turn and your opponent's turn, which is absolutely fantastic. For the power spells, double Book of Moon. This is a very heavy hand trap format, at least at the time of this recording. So Book of Moon helps you insulate from stuff like that. If they go Imperm, if they go Veiler, if they go any type of targeted negation, you can chain your Book of Moon on any of your squires, flip them down and resolve the effects while keeping the body. Again, same for your Monarchs. If they try and Ash Descend, if they try and Imperm Descend, you can always Book of Moon them, flip them down. They will miss the targeting for the Imperm, and the Ash, again, will miss because it's face down. You'll get the Sends, which is amazing. And basically from there, you can either extend with your spell or with your trap, which is amazing. We have the Foolish Burial Goods. This is to send the one-of power spells that we play. So we play the Trap, we play Pantheism. We also actually play the Succumbing Song Morganite, which is an amazing card, and from Rage of the Abyss. So it's actually pretty new at the time of this recording. And what does it do? Well, you can activate monster effects in the hand, but monsters you control can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase, and if your monster battles, any battle damage is doubled. So it really does help push for OTKs, funnily enough, with this deck, which is something I didn't think I'd be saying with Monarchs. But the more important effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard and add a Morganite card from your deck to your hand. Then place 1 card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. So adds you your time-tearing Morganite, which is actually still pretty broken for a deck like this. And the put back effect, you may think, wow, that's pretty bad. It actually can help you in some situations. If you opened a name that you want to guaranteed reveal off of your Pantheism Banish, you can actually put the name back, Pantheism, reveal 3 of the same name, and get it back immediately. So it actually comes up sometimes. We have the 1 time-tearing Morganite, which is, in my opinion, just a better Succumbing Morganite. But what does it do? Again, you can activate monster effects in the hand, draw 2 cards instead of 1 for your normal draw phase, and you can conduct 2 normal summons or sets per turn, not just 1. The banish effect is never going to come up because we only play 1 copy of Time-Tearing Morganite, but these 2 actually are very good for a deck like Monarchs that just doesn't have the, the capacity or the consistency to play hand traps. That's why we play the Time-Tearing cards. And for the last card, this was Pot of Desires. Now it is Upstart Goblin, as a lot of people are screaming at me in the comments. Upstart Goblin makes this a 39-card deck, which is very... You may think, wow, that's very consistent. This is Monarchs. You're still going to brick. You could probably brick on a 20-card deck with Monarchs, to be honest with you, just because, unfortunately, there's no 1-card combos with this deck. Everything takes 2 cards or more in terms of if you want to be able to search your Vanities or your Majesty's Fiend. You actually need to open like 3 cards in your hand, 3 specific ones, to get that combo off. So going forward, Konami, please give Monarchs 1-card combos. Give them a rota that doesn't need to rely on you tribute summoning, just lets you add a monster. That will allow us to play less tribute summons as well, as we don't need to guaranteed C1 or we can't basically play the game. So thank you, Konami, and I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed the little bit in the beginning where I spoke about the deck's strengths and weaknesses, and I will see you all in the next video.
It's time! Let's go!